Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening to Wake Up, Look Up, a podcast where we connect events happening in real time to the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm Zach Weihrauch. And in today's episode, we're asking the question, can the gospel handle complexity? I'm asking this because of a conversation that's happening in American politics right now. I just want to use the political issue as a launching off point for talking about how we might think about politics from a gospel perspective. The political issue is what's called birthright citizenship. I read about it this week in the Washington Post. It's something the Trump administration is seeking to reverse. Birthright citizenship is just the idea that if you're born in the United States, you are automatically a citizen. Now, for most people, their parents are from the United States. They were born in the United States because that's where their family lives. Of course, it follows they would be citizens. Where this becomes complicated, though, is there are actually families who will come into the country illegally in the hopes of having their child in the United States because their child then would be a U.S. citizen. It's a way of kind of getting around immigration law, or at least it can be if you see it cynically. It is a right, though, that is enshrined in the U.S. Constitution. The 14th Amendment declares if you're born in the United States, you are a citizen. But the Trump administration is arguing that should change, that it is creating an immigration loophole and actually incentivizing people to illegally enter the country. They want to move from birthright citizenship to citizenship established on blood. In other words, that you have to come from parents who are themselves Americans. Now, countries all over the world are divided on this. In the South America, North America, the Caribbean, those kinds of countries, birthright citizenship is law. It's the way things are done. It's a tradition stemming from colonialism, where if you were, your family had come over as part of the European migration and you were born in a country, you were a citizen of that country. However, in Europe, this is switching. European countries concerned about the same immigration loopholes are moving to citizenship by blood. They're saying it doesn't matter if you're born in the country, you need to be born to parents who are themselves citizens. It's a hotly debated thing because on the one side, you have kind of the law and order crowd saying, what's the point of having immigration laws if people can just work around them? On the other side, you have the people concerned about the more humanity aspect of this and going, wait a minute, we're denying babies an actual right that they should have based on the decisions that their parents have made. And this is one of those issues where certainly we can bring the gospel to bear, but you're going to have trouble finding a verse in the New Testament that says, thou shalt or thou shalt not practice birthright citizenship. I think we all feel pretty confident about speaking into politics when the Bible is absolutely clear. Something like abortion, where the Bible makes clear that's murder, is easier than something like birthright citizenship, where we have to kind of walk a line or a tension. But that's kind of the point of this episode. We should walk that tension. Christians shouldn't be afraid of complexity. The gospel isn't afraid of complexity because the Bible affirms both of these things. On the one hand, the Bible affirms the idea that the government is God's ordained authority. In Romans 13, we're told it bears the sword God has given it. The government passes laws. It enforces its borders, its boundaries. It defines what it looks like to be a citizen of that country. When countries make laws regarding immigration, they're doing what God has ordained them to do. They're doing the work of the government. And certainly governments have to think about how to protect their current citizens, how to create healthy environments for their citizens in which they can flourish. But on the other hand, the Bible does have a lot to say about loving your neighbor and about seeing all people as our neighbors and refusing those who would dehumanize someone based on where they're from or socioeconomic status. So how do Christians move forward saying the Bible does give the government authority, but it does not allow me to demonize my neighbor? Well, we move forward by holding those in each hand. We move forward by showing we can walk and chew gum at the same time. Christians should be reconcilers in these kinds of debates where we're affirming law and order, but refusing to dehumanize and demonize people from other countries or people who are seeking what we all enjoy, which is the American dream and the hope of living in this prosperous country. Christians have to be able to handle nuance. And the whole point of this episode is not really about telling you how to view birthright citizenship. It's to reject those who are so quick to run to one corner or the other. This is a complex issue. And one of the ways we can respect the law and love our neighbors is to be okay with that. Reject those who offer overly simplistic solutions. Reject those who appeal to the baser parts of who we are and say there must be a path forward for us that is both respecting the government's authority and loving our neighbor. Because after all, God would never ask us to do two things that conflict. So there must be a path forward. Let's keep looking till we find it. This is not a tension to solve, it's a tension to manage. And that is how we can be the salt of the earth, the light of the world, the city on a hill. Hey, thanks so much for watching this episode of Wake Up, Look Up. While you're here, take a minute to like and subscribe. Really helps us get the word out. Don't hesitate to leave a review wherever you might find this podcast on an audio level and help spread the word. And hey, while you're here, check out all the other content we have at Christ Community Chapel on YouTube. Some of those videos are popping up on the screen now. Click on one.